Test, 1, 2. Is this on? Good morning, good morning. Hey. There we go. Good morning, everybody. Morning. We'll start in like 10 seconds. Wow, that's really bright. Isn't this building amazing? It's so great to be doing this in OTR. We've wanted to do it here for years. They just did this great renovation on this fantastic Memorial Hall, so we're really excited to be here. My name's Tony Alexander. I'm the general manager of the Brandery, and we have 7 companies that are so excited to share what they've been working on these past 4 months. And we also have 3 of our alumni companies that are going to come up on stage and let you know what they've been up to since they left the Brandery. But I want to take a little bit of my time here up front. We'll talk a little bit about how great the Brandery is. I know you guys go to lots of demo days and you see accelerators talk about how great they are individually. But this is Cincinnati Startup Week. I imagine a lot of you guys are in town for that. There are thousands of entrepreneurs and people interested in entrepreneurship signed up for events all over the city. And because of that, I kind of want to talk about this ecosystem that we built called Startup Cincy. And I kind of want to talk a little bit about the history of that. So if you indulge me for the first 10-ish minutes, just to talk about this thing that a bunch of talented people over a long time have built that we're all really super proud of. And we call it Startup Cincy. And it's an ecosystem now that is hundreds of startups strong. It is thousands of entrepreneurs strong. And we really have this momentum in the city. But it wasn't always like that. So Cincinnati was kind of the original startup. I guess you could say that about any town or city. But, you know, people forget that Cincinnati was the Wild West before the Wild West became even further west. You know, we were this frontier town. We were this town at the confluence of the Licking and Ohio River that somebody just planted a flag and said, this is where I'm going to start something. This is where we're going to start this city. And before long, we got some great entrepreneurs that showed up. We are a town that has a history hundreds of years long with folks like Procter & Gamble and Kroger building these companies that kind of have stood the test of time. And I'm sure there are hundreds and thousands of entrepreneurs from those early days in the 1800s until we start talking about the more recent history of Startup Cincy. There's a section in the late 90s, early 2000s that I feel like doesn't really get told. And it's about a few guys that did this thing called Main Street Ventures. Now, a lot of people don't know we are the Brandery, but our nonprofit entity, our 501c3, is Main Street Ventures. So we are the second incarnation of this organization that really kind of led the way in the late 90s and early 2000s to try to light this spark for a startup ecosystem. So I'd love to bring out George Malinsky from Taft Law Firm to talk a little bit about the stuff that he and a lot of other people were working on back in the early days, and then I'll pop back on here to tell you where we've come from there. So, George?
Well, thank you, Tony. And many thanks to the Brandery and to everyone who's contributed to its amazing success over the years. So I'm the old guy in the mix at the Brandery, and they've given me one slide. And this is it. It's the last of the black and white slides of ancient history. So that's me in the lower left-hand corner. Dave Noonan, who was our executive director for a while, in the middle. My colleague from Taft, James Zimmerman, up on the right. This is about 18 years ago. John Biskowski, Enquirer reporter, gave us a lot of coverage. Who you don't see in this picture, but he was for sure somewhere lurking around the corner. He's here this morning, is Jack Wyant from Blue Chip Venture Company, who was a great visionary at that time, still is, and one of the driving forces behind all of this and the community. So, but a few of you might remember Main Street Ventures back in the day, and if you do, you'll also recall that as much as the Brandery's focus from its founding was very tight, it was well thought out, Main Street Ventures was just not. It wasn't either of those things. Back in 1999, when we started the internet, I mean, that was a new word for the business community still, even at that time. This term e-commerce, which we all know what that means today, it was starting to be thrown about, but no one had a definition for it in 1999. There were support organizations long-standing in the community. They were wonderful, but none of them were set up to help e-commerce businesses, or new economy businesses as we called them at that time, because it was all so new. But what we did have at that time were entrepreneurs popping up all over town, really interesting people and companies, ideas that they were pursuing, and 3 of those were just a few blocks from here in over the Rhine. Ethos Interactive was one of them, Digital Bang was another. Those were software development companies doing some really interesting work, and a third was a company called Jump, and it had an auction site called Up for Sale. And a real pivotal moment up here in this community was when eBay came in, swooped in, and purchased this company Up for Sale. It was these guys, just a few of these guys. They were over in this grungy little space above Jap's hair salon, just a few blocks from here, created this site, and it was amazing. It didn't get a lot of publicity, but for people who were in the community, they knew how significant this was, and it was really exciting, for everybody who could see what was happening. So these companies who were just a few blocks from here were up here for similar reasons. The rent was cheap, the workspaces were really cool. At that time, there was no Wi-Fi. You had access to the internet through, if you needed broadband, the cost of that broadband was tied in part to your proximity to the fiber. So Bell had fiber that ran near here. So for those reasons, those companies were all near each other, but they really weren't interacting with each other. Their businesses were unrelated. And that's really where Main Street Ventures came in. We saw this community starting to bubble up, and we thought, gosh, there are a lot of other people who would like to be part of this. Let's kind of put something out there. And really all we did was came up with the name, Main Street Ventures. We leased 2,000 square feet a few blocks from here, and invited people to come participate. There was no programming. There was no structure. We brought companies in on the basis of just wanting really smart, smart, hardworking people doing interesting things. And here's the key. We wanted people who were dedicated to helping each other. That was really what made that community work, and I think that continues through today. So one of our first companies was a blue chip backed company, Planet Feedback. Pete Blackshaw was behind that business. He secured an A round of $6 million, and then shortly thereafter, $25 million from New York Venture Capital. And then that got publicity. John Biskowski started giving us more coverage, and then that brought a lot more interest in companies into the community. The Main Street companies ended up building out about 60,000 square feet in over the Rhine. We had millions of dollars of investment in those businesses. We had some really nice exits, and everything was going great. The wind was at our back, and then we sailed right into the perfect storm. I mean, it was really something. So 9/11 happened, and we had the dot-com bust. A horrible recession followed, and a tragic shooting of a young man here, just a few blocks from here. And so everything changed up here in terms of being a place of vibrant business activity. And that's just where we were, as a nation and as a community. And so what was such a fast-moving, exciting time became a time for pause, a time for healing. And so that was the case for several years. And I'm in my office, and the phone rang, and it was J.B. Kropp. And he would come back from the West Coast, and he said, love to share with you this idea that he and Dave Knox had for the Brandery. I'm like, wow, that sounds really interesting. We went out for a beer. Rob McDonald came. The 4 of us had a beer together, and we were just like blown away. What a great idea, and the time was right to do this. So we had these young guys, super talented, energetic young guys with a vision, and off they went. So for those guys, I'm super grateful that they've allowed me to continue to participate in that community with them. They've really been the driving forces behind it, and so I would just like to say thanks to them. I'd like to say congratulations to our class of 2017, and again, thank you all for participating today.
Yeah, it's really great to be able to share kind of that history that I feel like kind of gets skipped over when we talk about this history of Startup Cincy. So George touched on it, but I think when there was this push in the late 90s, and not just on the startup side, but if you guys are from around here, there were, a bunch of bars on Main Street. There was kind of this try to redevelop OTR. But then when we had the unfortunate riots and the incident where the unarmed African-American kid was shot, it really kind of set us back. And I think that was a wake-up call for the Cincinnati business community to kind of come together. And they created this organization called 3CDC. Now, 3CDC stands for Center of Cincinnati Development Corporation. When I think of kind of the genesis of this phase of the Startup Cincy story, I think of this as the starting point. Because really, without redeveloping OTR, we couldn't have this ecosystem that we have today. So 3CDC went in, they bought up all the vacant buildings in over the Rhine. And they redeveloped along with a lot of other people. I don't want to just say it was 3CDC, but I think they were the genesis of it. More than any other organization are responsible for just the beauty that you guys see around you. The Music Hall renovation, which just reopened last week, $100-something million renovation, looks amazing. The building we're in right now, Memorial Hall, I'm almost positive 3CDC had a lot to do with this renovation. And pretty much any of the buildings you see around here, 3CDC has touched in some way to kind of bring this neighborhood back. And you really can't undersell how important this is to the ecosystem. Without this vibrant kind of little slice of Brooklyn and San Francisco right here in the Midwest to draw younger people who want this urban walkable vitality here, and more importantly, if we draw them here, we can keep them here. It would be much tougher to build a startup ecosystem. Second step, kind of in this new generation, is Cincy Tech. In 2008, they changed their investment philosophy from, I guess, more conservative investments to doing actual pre-revenue seed stage tech investments. So they were looking for companies that were going to scale and get big, and they were taking these really early bets, and they started taking really early bets on companies here in Cincinnati. And George mentioned that, and other people like JB and Rob and Brian and Dave saw that there was a change kind of happening here in Cincinnati, and came up with this idea for the Brandery in 2010. So we launched in 2010 with our first class. And what the Brandery wanted to do, and I know you guys, most of you in this room know what a startup accelerator is. I don't have to get into that. We're very much in the model of what Brad Feld and David Cohen were doing out in Boulder in the late aughts. Is that the word for it? Aughts? Like 2007, 2008. We structured our program around that. 4 months, mentorship driven, get to a demo day, try to get investment to get you to that next stage. But what the Brandery really wanted to do was leverage what we felt was the unfair advantage of Cincinnati. And that is, per capita, we have more branding and marketing talent here than any other city in the country. And we have that because they service these big CPG companies and retail companies like Kroger and P&G and Macy's. So this is a creative guy. I actually typed creative guy into a stock photo thing, and this guy with the... He looks like he's creative, right? He's got like posters and the hat. He's good. So he is hopefully not a representation of all the fantastic people that work at these branding and marketing agencies. This is just a sampling of folks that we've worked with in the recent history. So every single year, these companies that come through our program, they get all the normal stuff. You get an accelerator. We give them money. We give them office space. They get world-class mentors, many of whom are in this room right now. But they also get matched one-to-one with one of these fantastic branding and marketing firms. And they do $25, $50, sometimes more, $1,000 in pro bono work. The thesis in the original thesis was that if we could give our companies, if there are 20, 50, 100 companies out there trying to do the next messaging app or photo sharing app, whatever's hot that year, we could give our folks just that 5% greater chance of success by having that really thought out product market fit messaging and a really slick brand. And we think that given the success our companies have had and the Brandery itself has had, that thesis has borne itself out, but we couldn't have done it without a lot of these great firms that you see up here. So keep an eye out for, as each company comes up, the bumper slide in between, right before they come up, will tell you who their agency was, who they worked with. We really want to make sure that you guys see that and can see some of the great work that they've put in this class. We've said it a couple times, the Brandery is a nonprofit. We couldn't do this without corporate support and support from foundations and other places. So these are some of our wonderful sponsors that really keep us in business. We get the biggest chunk of our funding from the state of Ohio. So if you are a resident of Ohio and you pay taxes, thank you. Part of this show is paid for by you, and we appreciate that. And the Brandery saw some really early success. We ranked in the top 10. We're in our second or third year of all accelerators in the world, which was fantastic for us, and it kind of put us on the map. And what allowed us to do is draw talent from outside Cincinnati. So over 80% of the companies that we have brought into Cincinnati to go through the Brandery are not from here. And about half of those companies that come here and create a successful business stay here. And that really was one of the original thoughts of the Brandery. So this is just a sampling of where we've brought people from. And almost every year we have one from outside the world, but I couldn't figure out a good way to get that in there that looked good. So, and then when we get them here. The first couple years, they were out on their own. It was just find a place to live. We'll see you on the first day of the program. And what we found as Over the Rhine became more and more popular, it became impossible to find a short-term apartment here. And the experience that our founders had in going through the program was, and I apologize if a lot of you live in Mason or Anderson, but we didn't want their experience to be a 45-minute one-way commute each way. We wanted to really sell the city as this cool, hip place that they could live downtown and they could walk around, and it was urban and it was vibrant. So with Urban Sites, who's one of our sponsors, we got together and took a master lease on 14 two-bedroom apartments right on Walnut Street, right across from Half Cut and Below Zero Lounge, right in the middle of OTR, 2 blocks from Union Hall. And when these founders roll into Cincinnati, the 80% of them that are from out of town, they roll right into these apartments. Cincinnati Bell gave us 2 gigabit fioptic cable. We take care of all of the utilities. We subsidize the all-in rent as much as we can, but they can just roll in here and get to work, and that has been a fantastic tool for us. So like I said, we were ranked in the top 10 when there were like 50 accelerators. It varies year to year as the ranking, this algorithm, nobody really knows what goes into it, but we've always been ranked in the top 15, and now there are hundreds, literally hundreds and hundreds of accelerators across the world. So we're still really proud to be playing in that upper tier of accelerator programs. So this is just some of the numbers that we're proud of. This is our 8th class. We've had 73 companies come through. That number, 81%, that's the exact number of companies that we got from outside Cincinnati. Those companies, not counting this year's class, would be a little unfair since they kind of just started, have created 400 plus jobs all over the country. About half of those stayed in Ohio. And they've raised an aggregate $130 million in follow-on financing. So we're really proud of the work that we've done and the work that our companies have done. This year's a little bit different for us. In previous years, we kind of focused on just the thought was take somebody with really great tech, but kind of sloppy or not as good branding, and we could really use our agency partners and our mentors to really kind of get that where it needed to be. We've had some success, though, in the last couple years on taking in physical products, consumer product goods, marketing tech, ad tech seem to be easier to do good stuff with. So this year, we were really going for that needle in the haystack. We really focused in. We only took physical products, CPG goods, or ad tech or marketing tech. So the 7 companies you're going to see here all reflect those 3 verticals. And it's really just going all into what Cincinnati as a community is really good at. We are the capital of consumer understanding. So it makes sense that we would have these type of companies come through the program. Next step in Startup Cincy is Centrifuge. Centrifuge does many things, as you guys know, especially the investors in the room. There's a large syndicate fund, so they invest outside of Cincinnati. They're LPs and other funds, so then have those funds look at deals inside Cincinnati. For every dollar that we put out into the world from our syndicate fund, about $7 comes back into a deal, into a Cincinnati company. So we're really leveraging the power of that. And the LPs in the syndicate fund are a lot of the same sponsors we have: P&G, Kroger, Scripps. They're all in this fund, so they are very much contributing to the ecosystem just through the syndicate fund. That's a huge deal that doesn't necessarily. It's not as shiny. It's not something that you can point to like Union Hall or Brandery or a demo day, but it's one of the more important tools we have in an ecosystem. And then Centrifuge manages Union Hall. I'm sure most of the people in here, if you haven't, check it out, 1311 Vine. It's the center of our Startup Week activities. It's nice to have a clubhouse. I started the company that had success. I started in 2003, 2004, and I lived out on the east side in a suburb, and I knew a few people that were entrepreneurs, but I didn't have a tribe. I didn't have a group of people, and that energy wasn't concentrated in one spot. And then once Union Hall was built, now you have one place to go. For somebody that was in my position 14 years ago, if they're thinking about starting a business, they know exactly the address to show up to, they know who to talk to get access to resources, and it's really fantastic to kind of have this really cool startup clubhouse right in the middle of OTR. It's just a fantastic spot, and that's where the Brandery is located as well. So this kind of all came together in 2015. We put it under this banner, this brand of Startup Cincy. Startup Cincy is more than just the accelerators or Centrifuge and Cincy Tech. It's all the big co's that are the most important thing they can do is both mentor and become a customer for these startups, which many of them are doing. The accelerators, of which we're not the only game in town. You've got folks like Ocean and UpTech and First Batch. They're doing great things as well. It's all the investors, both here and everybody from out of town in this room. You are officially a member of Startup Cincy. You can grab your sticker at Union Hall and put it on your laptop, and that makes it official. And it's also the universities. So we have 4 pillar universities: UC, Xavier, Miami, and NKU, Northern Kentucky University, and all the smaller universities around that. They both feed our entrepreneurial spirit, and they feed us graduates, computer science graduates, marketing graduates, design graduates. They're feeding into this next generation of startups we're putting into the ecosystem. So that's kind of the run of what it goes from Procter & Gamble and Kroger to Main Street Ventures. There's a yada, yada, yada in there where a lot of stuff happened. A couple world wars that, and then Main Street Ventures, and then this kind of path you see here to kind of build where we're at. And we're not there yet. I still think we have a little ways to go. We need that marquee billion-dollar exit. Hopefully one of the companies that you see on this stage that you guys invest in will be that supernova exit that kind of puts the ecosystem on the map. But I think that we're going to get there. I think the company that is our first billion-dollar exit is working in Cincinnati right now. I don't know who it is, but I think they're out there and they're doing good stuff. In the next couple years, I think we'll see it happen. So like I said, this is Startup Week. Hopefully you guys, how many people are registered or have like a schedule for Startup Week events? Everybody, hopefully? Well, if you're not, check out Cincinnati Startup Week. I think it's startupweek.com, cincinnati.startupweek.com. I'm not sure. But if you go to Union Hall, there's all sorts of events going on this week. Hillman's Demo Day is later on this afternoon. I hope a lot of you guys will go to that. That's down at the Freedom Center by the ballpark. There's Blink, which is like a art installation distributed that's going on the last half of this week and over the weekend. It's just a really cool week to be in Cincinnati, so I really appreciate you guys coming out for it. And I want to give a shout out to 2 organizations. Taft, George is a partner at Taft, has been around, and James Zimmerman, the guy that he pointed out there, is now the managing partner of the Cincinnati office. Are great sponsors of ours. Rob McDonald, who's one of the Brandery co-founders, also a partner at Taft. They sponsored the breakfast and the coffee you guys had this morning, and then for the investors, we'll have a lunch afterwards. They sponsored that as well. They've really been around the ecosystem and supporting it both as individuals and as a firm since the very beginning. So I definitely want to make sure I give them a shout out. And then P&G is doing their alumni event, I think over the next couple days, but they're doing a thing for, it's called Generation Next Now? I always get that wrong. Okay, Generation Now is happening right after this. So P&G actually sponsored our live stream. They just paid for the whole thing, which is a big help for us. So as a nonprofit, that was great. So I want to make sure I give them a shout out. Last thing here before I get off the stage, and you can see some really great companies. Just so you guys know, if you're talking to people, who you're talking to, these dots, what they mean. The little gold dot, those are our current founders. If you've got a green dot, that means you're an investor. So the dots that we put on your name tags is what you guys registered as. So afterwards, we're having an investor lunch, which we'd like only investors to come to, so these companies can really start making those good connections. If you are an investor, but you didn't register as an investor, don't have to worry about it now, but after the show, there'll be a table downstairs where we can give you a little green sticker and you can get into the lunch. So, but please, on the honor system, don't try to, we really want these companies to be talking to investors. So the lunch is good, but it's not that good to lie about it. And then if you guys have any problems, look for the purple, pink stickers. That's Brandery staff. We can kind of get you where you need to be. Of course, we have our mentors, alumni, and our wonderful sponsors and agencies with the red sticker. So just as you guys are mingling to know who you're talking to, there it is. So thank you guys so much. It's been such a great thing these last few years, running the Brandery day-to-day and being the general manager of it. I've gotten to see so many great entrepreneurs and startups. And I'm really proud of this class we have. These 7 companies are going to come up here and really, they're just doing some really exciting things. So I'm excited for them to share it with you, and I'm excited for you guys to see it. So first off, I'm going to bring up Jason Hargis, who is, I'm not sure what your title is. He's the main guy at SpiceFire. And I'm glad he's the first one because I don't get to introduce every introducer, but I'm glad he can be a representation of all of our great agency partners. He's done fantastic work 2 years ago with Guild Collective. Last year, the work he did with Good Wipes was just amazing. And then this year, he is working with Gainful. Brain fart there. With Gainful, and the stuff that he and his associates at SpiceFire have put together, they just do such killer work, and they do it all for free. And it's just so fantastic to see. So without further ado, I'm going to bring out Jason to introduce Gainful. Thanks, guys.
I just want to clarify, not all of our work is for free. So thank you, Tony. Much appreciated, buddy. So hello, I am Jason Hargis, and I am the Group Director of Creative at SpiceFire. And SpiceFire is a brand innovation agency located right here in the heart of OTR. And I am so pleased to be with you this morning and to have a chance to introduce this first brand. We have had the honor of participating in the Brandery program for a few years now, and I can honestly say it's one of the highlights of our year. The energy, passion, and courage of the brands we've had a chance to work with is truly inspiring. And I am particularly excited for you to meet our partners this year, Gainful. Gainful is solving a real problem that a lot of people struggle with in the world of protein supplements. I myself have found it extremely difficult to understand and navigate through this complex category. Gainful is taking a bold new approach. Gainful is tapping into some of the hottest trends in customization and personalization in a market that is in dire need of a new voice. Over these past few months, they've seen continual growth in both revenue and subscribers and are poised to do some absolutely amazing things. So without further ado, please join me in welcoming to the stage Eric Wu, co-founder and CEO of Gainful.
Thank you. Thanks so much. Hey everyone, my name's Eric. I am the CEO and co-founder of Gainful. Now, if you've ever been in a GNC, you know it's a little bit of an overwhelming experience. A little while back, I decided that I was going to start exercising more. So I walked into a GNC looking for a protein powder. Immediately, I was confronted by dozens of rows of these big pharmaceutical jugs with crazy names and even crazier labels. And when I had a question about my nutrition facts, my only resource was this underpaid teenage store clerk whose only job was to upsell me. Worst of all, being in GNC made me feel super uncomfortable. And that's because all these brands made me feel like they were just trying to tell me how I was supposed to look, rather than listen to me. It's like all the protein supplements got together and decided that just because I was looking for a protein powder, I was a guy. A macho guy. A macho guy who wants to look like young Arnold Schwarzenegger. But what really struck me was that all of these supplement brands on the shelf were one size fits all. None of them felt like they were made for me, my body, and my goals. And I knew I wasn't alone. That's because protein powder is for everyone now, not just bodybuilders. The people who buy protein powder nowadays come in all different ages, shapes, and sizes. For example, the fastest growing demographics in protein powder right now are women and casual users. And as we've seen, the existing brands have no idea how to talk to these groups because they're too busy marketing to the bodybuilders of the world. So I had all these realizations in my final semester of college, and I began buying up protein powder ingredients and mixing them up in my messy college basement. All my roommates thought I was insane, and honestly, I probably was. Along the way, I managed to rope my 2 best buds from high school into working with me on my little protein powder project. But of course, we knew we couldn't keep mixing up protein powder in my messy college basement, so we found an FDA-compliant facility and we hired a registered dietitian to help us out with the nutritional science. Just this July, after months of using ourselves as lab rats, we decided to show the world what we'd been working on. Gainful is personalized protein powder, delivered monthly as a subscription. And the way it works is super simple. Just head on over to gogainful.com, answer a couple really simple questions, and then we'll immediately calculate a perfect protein powder blend for your unique body type and fitness goals. We spent months perfecting the world's first protein powder matching algorithm, and unlike your typical GNC store clerk, our proprietary algorithm uses peer-reviewed nutritional science to find the perfect blend for your unique body. Then, of course, you can buy this protein powder. It shows up monthly on your doorstep as a subscription. But the best part, and the part that our customers really love, is that we give everyone free one-on-one access to their very own registered dietitian. And this is the person who is always there to make sure that your nutrition evolves alongside your fitness. The pricing is really simple too. You can buy a 30-serving bag of personalized protein powder for $49, or you can get that same 30-serving bag for $45 as a subscription. That shakes out to $1.50 per serving. Now, we've also stumbled on a huge opportunity, one that places Gainful squarely at the confluence of a number of growing trends. First, the market for protein supplements in the US alone last year was $5.4 billion, and that's projected to hit $9 billion in the next 5 years. And within that, direct-to-consumer is the fastest growing channel in this fast-growing industry. Since we launched in July, we've seen 60% average weekly revenue growth, and we've reduced our cost of customer acquisition by over 60%. And we've accomplished this by iterating constantly, running new experiments around product, pricing, and messaging almost every single day. We now know that we're profitable on every customer's second purchase, and that's what makes our subscription model so exciting, because we're already seeing a lot of our customers come back for their third and fourth months. So, what about the team? Well, my background is in digital marketing. I previously led marketing at Hatch Baby, which is a consumer hardware startup. Jahan, our CTO, is a software and chemical engineer with previous experience at Johnson & Johnson, and he quit his job at Clover, where he was a data scientist, to join Gainful. Jeffrey, our third co-founder, is also a computer scientist. He was most recently a software developer over at NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory. So, what is our vision for the future? Well, for now, we are laser focused on protein powder, and we're going to become an industry-leading protein powder brand in the next 5 years. But the real beauty of our business model is in the data. So we're constantly learning about all the different types of people who fill out our online quiz, and when we're ready to roll out complementary products across the wellness category, we won't have to make any guesses about what our customers want. They've already told us. But what about the next 10 years? Well, the vision for that is much, much broader. Recently, the FDA released a paper explicitly detailing how they were going to completely overhaul the regulatory environment to make way for more personalized health and wellness solutions. And with Gainful, we're going to be on the cutting edge of this personalized health revolution. In 10 years, that might look like a personalized fitness regimen and meal plan based specifically on your genome. So, thank you all very much for listening. We are currently raising a seed round to scale up our manufacturing operations in time for a big marketing push in January. If you'd like to chat protein, just find me after the show. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Andrew Frey. I'm here to introduce John Cascarano and his brand Tame the Beast. I'm a real estate developer from Miami, which should raise all kinds of red flags. Big thanks to John for including me, and big thanks to the Brandery for including John. I'm a huge fan of Over the Rhine, and I loved hearing about its revitalization. John and I met in law school 15 years ago. Before law school, John founded Mental Floss, or was one of the co-founders, as a media company that they sold to the founder of Maxim. After practicing law, John founded Lock and Mane, which is a men's and women's grooming products company, which he grew to annual revenue of $6 million and sold. Then he joined Fashionable, which is a women's jewelry and accessory company, and in the course of 1 year, tripled their revenue. And now he founded Tame the Beast. John's going to tell you more about Tame the Beast, but I wanted to close with a thought about what it means to be a man and how that relates to this brand. The definition of manhood is broadening, and that's a great thing. I think of it as including but not limited to. And that might include spearfishing, quoting poetry, making things, making decisions, and making compromises, having a strong and equal partner, caring for your 3 daughters, enduring and striving with humor and optimism, and sometimes betting it all. So now a man is including, but not limited to. That man is this brand, and this man is John Cascarano.
That was awesome. Hi, I'm John Cascarano. Tame the Beast. Tame the Beast creates men's grooming products with arousing scents and energizing properties. Tame the Beast is a full product line available at getbeast.com, and Tame the Beast has a message for you. Turn it up. Andrew touched on my background, e-commerce, consumer products, health and personal care. The main thing I'd like to add is that doing this made me tired. I'd found myself in middle age. That's me on the left. On the right is one of my 3 baby beasts. Do I golf? I don't golf. Not anymore. I got 10 minutes at best. And in 10 minutes, where can I go to recharge, rejuvenate? In the shower. And in the shower, I was a little bored. Every product out there, and was looking for something more. So I started thinking, what am I looking for? Great scent. It's got to have a great scent. A natural scent. I want pure botanicals in there. And intensity. Something to wake me up, wash away middle age. Ultimately, this is what I created. Tamed up, beard, hair, and body wash for men. A tidal rush of botanicals to wash away middle age. Eucalyptus, menthol, moringa, green tea, orange, grapefruit, lemon, caffeine, Sasquatch testosterone, and more. Real ingredients. All right, so I had my product, and I was ready to take it to market. So men's grooming. What happened to the guy on the left? Men's grooming used to be about men. Guys came home from the war, consumerism boomed, babies boomed. It was about men. Over time, things changed. Get them while they're young, and they're customers for life. So it became about the kid on the right and his mommy. But that kid grows up now. He gets his own Netflix account. He stops laughing when someone orders the cheese plate. He gets himself a damn coffee table book. And he starts spending money. A lot of money. More money than ever. Growing by double digits every year. Do you know what the fastest growing segment of men's grooming is? It's not shaving by the dollar. It's toiletries. All the other stuff. Where Tame the Beast is. So now that kid, now a man, goes to make a purchase. This is what he sees. He sees mass market brands. Billion-dollar brands. Under 10 bucks for a liter wash, artificial scent. On the right is the premium stuff. Over 50 bucks, over 100 bucks, over 125 bucks for a liter wash. But this is what he wants, affordable premium. So when he goes to shop now, we got his back, even if it's hairy. All right, so a little over a year ago, I launched the Yawp on Amazon, started to sell, started to get reviews organically. I started running Amazon ads, started to build off it, adding other products that made sense so as to create a regimen. Beginning of this year, I left fashionable, started marketing direct, mainly through getbeast.com, our website. August, we're over 15,000 a month in sales, which is a decent amount of lather, rinse, repeat, $35 average order, so a lot of orders. 5 times last year, and we expect to do 5 times next year. Men's grooming has good profit margins. Customers will reward you if you create a quality product, and they'll do so often, 5 times a year or more. We have over 2,000 customers on our website. We added a subscription module in the spring. We're over $3,000 a month in subscribe and save revenue. We are acquiring customers online. We have NFL players, Olympians, regular guys, loving the beast. And this is what they have to say. Over 150 product reviews on the yacht page alone. If you subscribe and save for a little over $50 a year, you get really all you ever need in the shower and a premium product. Natural ingredients, great scent, intensity. Welcome to Grown Up Grooming. At Brandery, the doorman, his name's James. He's kind of like a sage security guard. I talked to James. About ingredients. James loves Tame the Beast. Why? Great scent, natural scent, intensity. Tame the Beast lets James go beast mode in the shower. If you don't think that's okay, it's right there. Manliness, right there. 7 out of 9, one of the virtues, I guess. James wants to go beast mode in the shower, man. Go beast mode. Go beast mode, James. To put it poetically, Tame the Beast lets James sound his barbaric yawp. Tame the Beast turns it up in the shower. Nothing turns it up like Tame the Beast. Please reach me at beast@getbeast.com. I have samples downstairs. Tonight, if you're feeling adventurous, in OTR at Rebel Wine Bar, 5 to 7 p.m., you can try Ohio-made wine. And if you're feeling more adventurous, you can try a cocktail inspired by the Yawp Wash. No shower needed. Thank you.
All right, so I mentioned we're going to bring out 3 of our alumni as well. So this is our first alumni coming out. I wanted to try to bring out a little bit of a mix. Unfortunately, we didn't have enough time to showcase all of our wonderful alumni. But this, Charlie Key is going to come out, and he and Brandon Canaday, his co-founder, went through the Brandery in, it all runs together, 2012? Where's Brandon? Is that right? 2012. 2012 with a company called Modulus. And they built this Node.js platform. They could explain the technology. All I know is that within 18 months out of the Brandery, they were acquired by Progress Software out of Boston. They went through their earn-out, and literally the day after their earn-out ended, they bailed from the corporate life and started another company here in Cincinnati. And with the proceeds from their acquisition, they've invested in dozens of startups here in town, and they are starting a new company called Losant, which Charlie will tell you about. He's a great friend and a great example of the type of entrepreneur that any ecosystem needs. You need successful entrepreneurs to give back to the community that made them successful. So without further ado, I'll have Charlie come out here and talk to you a little bit about his company, Losant.
Morning, everybody. Hi. As mentioned, I'm Charlie Key. I'm the co-founder and the CEO of Losant. I want to talk a little bit about my company. I'm going to talk a little bit about where we come from and also a little bit about how Startup Cincy and the people here have helped us along the way. So myself and Brandon Canaday, who is here as well, we started this company, as mentioned by Tony, at the Brandery called Modulus. We ended up selling that in 2014. One of the things that I wanted to note, though, was the funny part about this is it kind of all comes together. In our Brandery day in 2012, we happened to be at the ballpark, and this new firm was announced called Centrifuge. Centrifuge was literally announced the day that we got up and pitched in 2012. So that was like 5 years ago, almost to the day. This has had a big bearing on what we've done in the last several years as well. So as we come out of that exit, we started this company called Losant, and we have been able to acquire and get several large customers here in the Cincinnati area, Fortune 500 companies, to come and work with us. And that is no less in part thanks to Centrifuge, thanks to the Brandery, thanks to the connections that we've had here in the city and what everybody's done for us. And I want to thank everybody for that, first of all. We are looking at a world where we have 30 billion connected devices by 2020. Depending on who you ask, it might be 50 billion. It's going to be a lot. There's a lot of connected devices. IoT is top of mind for most companies. Yet, despite good intentions to build data-driven and digitally minded solutions, creating these solutions is extremely complex and expensive. The bottom line is most companies just don't have the expertise to get there. Losant helps accelerate the creation of these applications. We provide a hardware-agnostic suite of cloud services specifically designed for IoT workloads. By focusing on usability, we allow enterprises to get their applications to market faster and easier than ever before. Now, one of our customers is National Pump and Energy. They're based out of Australia. They've, over the last several years, have moved into this new digital age. Over the last several years, they've gone from having to travel from location to location and manually check industrial pumps all over Australia at gold mine sites. They've now have sensors on these pumps and now can remotely manage and monitor these pumps all through the LoSant platform, saving them hundreds of thousands of dollars every year. At LoSant, we're tackling the $15 billion IoT application development market. This is expected to triple over the next 4 years. And we're excited for where this is going. So I just wanted to finish with a story that's very relevant to startup Sensi, to this Sensi week. So when we started this company, we actually had a different name. It was called Structure. But over the last couple years, we've now had to change that name. So if you look at LoSant, and the reason that we changed the name to what it is, the city of Cincinnati was called Losantiville for several years before it was actually named Cincinnati. So as an homage to our city and what we see happening here, we've named our company LoSant. Thank you.
Great stuff. That's awesome stuff from LoSant. So, good morning. How's everybody doing? Yeah, it's a pretty exciting time to be in Cincinnati right now, is it not? You enjoying this week? There's a lot of great things going on, and I'm so excited about this next company who's coming up, another IoT company. First off, my name is Marvin Abrinica. I'm the founder of Thrivera, and we work with a lot of young brands to help brand their companies, tell a story with their brands. And I also founded Wonder Fund, which, if you've seen, it's the first regulation crowdfunding portal in Ohio, in Indiana, in the Midwest. And so we help startups raise up to $1 million using the crowd. But as a Brandery mentor through the years, this is what's most important. I've worked with some amazing companies, from fashion companies to market research companies to educational tech companies that have come through this pipeline here. But this year, I had the pleasure of working with Obi. The greatest part about Obi is that every time I get to sit down with Hillary, we get to talk about our dogs. Okay. How many pet lovers here? All right, cats, cat owners, all right, dog owners. Okay, the rest of you, hey, you're not human if you don't have a pet, okay? Am I right? I mean, like, who else is there to comfort you when you're crying over a heartache than your dog? Okay, when I get kicked out of my bedroom because I'm fighting with my wife, it's my dog. It happens a lot, right? But, you know, what I love about my dog is like another part of our family. And I think we can all agree that we love our pets. I have a little Cavachon, his name is Samwise. I love this dog, but he acts more like a pig, honestly. He eats everything in sight. I swear this thing has a mission in life. Number one is to eat everything in sight, and number two is to collect tampons. For whatever reason, I have 2 daughters. If my wife was here, she'd say, you have no shame. But I swear, this thing is on a mission. I get up in the morning, he begs, I fill his bowl. My kids get up in the morning, he begs, they fill his bowl. My wife comes home from work, he begs, they fill his bowl. And it goes on and on. He begs, they fill his bowl. And the problem is, nobody truly knows how much food this little monster is eating. You have this problem, right? And the problem gets worse because our dogs and cats become fat, right? And if Samwise could talk, you know, if he could have a conversation with me, I'd have a talk about his tampon problem. You know. But then we would have a frank conversation about his eating habits. If I said, hey, Samwise, you know, have you eaten today? I swear this thing would look at me in the eyes, with his puppy dog eyes, and say, nope, fill my bowl, please. But since he hasn't evolved yet to speak, all right, he hasn't gotten to that point, Obi is built for the next big thing, all right? It is built, we have Obi in place, and the Obi Pro Bowl that you're going to see today is a smart pet bowl that tells you how much your dog or your cat is eating, right? And it reports it back to you, and you can track your dog's health. And I won't steal Hillary's thunder because she'll tell you all about this. And today you're going to hear from the inventor and the founder of this great product, Hillary Jensen, and she's wicked smart, and you can find her profile. She's wicked smart, Ivy League alum, and I won't go into those details, but she's worked in the Valley, she's worked at Google, at Symantec, and I just love this lady. She's got a wonderful story to tell about Obi, and you know, as a guy who's come from a CPG background, runs an agency now, her work is inspired by consumers. The consumers of the pet owner variety are us two-legged people, but then also the four-legged friends that are out there too. And she's here, she's got a great vision to create a world of happy and healthy dogs and cats. And so without further ado, let me introduce my friend. It's a great honor for me to introduce Hillary. So please come to the stage. She is the dog whisperer, as I'm gonna call her. But Hillary Jensen, founder, CEO of Obi.
Hi, I'm Hillary Jensen. I'm a Stanford grad, Harvard MBA, Google alum. I've had 2 exits, and I have spent the last 3 years of my life dedicated to building dog bowls. Here's why. This is DJ, my dedicated running companion and Muttweiler. One day, as we approached our regular hill climb, he just stopped, would not budge. I got worried. Was he hurt? Was he sick? Turns out the vet gave me a simple diagnosis. Your dog is fat. Well, DJ and I are not alone. There are twice as many dogs and cats as there are kids today in the US, and more than half of them are fat. And that means they probably won't live as long, they have a lower quality of life, and we, as pet owners, end up paying for expensive health problems like diabetes, knee surgeries, and heart problems. And it can all be prevented. The vet was right. When I succeeded in getting DJ 10 pounds lighter, he was like a puppy again. He would zip up the hills and leave me in the dust just like he used to. I had my DJ back. So I set out to create an easier way for us to keep our pets healthier and happier. I'm not, oops. Oh, yeah, sorry. I wasn't advancing fat pets. So I'm not an engineer by training, but I wasn't gonna let that stop me. We've worked with hundreds of consumers, pet owners, to refine our product market fit. A zillion hacked scales and prototypes later, we have shipped our beta Pro Bowls to our Indiegogo supporters. We have created a platform for pet health and wellness, and our flagship product is called Pro Bowl. Pro Bowl makes it easy for anyone to feed their pet the right amount. Just pour the food into the bowl, and it turns green at the base to let you know when it's the right amount. You will never run out of pet food again. We know what you ordered, we know how much you fed your pet, so we know exactly when to have it reordered and delivered to your doorstep. You don't have to lift a finger, press a button, lug a bag, nothing. We do it for you. And we track your pet's eating and drinking habits, so you can share the data with your vet. But Obi is a lot more than just a direct-to-consumer hardware model. The pet industry really values the information that we are gathering. We are the window into the home for them, and we are able to report on things like how many times a day your pet gets fed, how old your pet is, and the breed. And with that kind of information, we, Obi and our partners, are able to make recommendations that are more personalized and targeted for our customers. And we already have a partnership in place. In addition to that, the smart subscription service that we provide provides OB with recurring revenue. So who are our customers? Millennials. Millennials are the largest pet-owning generation now, and they view having pets as like practicing for kids. And they're willing to pay premiums to pamper their furry babies. This year we won the grand prize for pet care innovation from Nestle Purina, and we're also the first to market with Amazon in our smart subscription service. We have a partnership with a large pet food manufacturer, and all of this we've done while we've significantly de-risked our design for manufacturing. Of course, we couldn't have gotten this far without a great team. And they're watching today. Hi, guys. Dimitri and Rustam are fantastic full-stack engineers, and Dr. Moria Fraz is great at taking the complicated information that we get and translating it into simple and easy to understand consumer insights. We have a roadmap for vertically integrated products and services that will make your life easier and your pet's life happier and healthier. The great thing to me about OB is that we have a mission, but we also have a really strong revenue model. If you're even a tenth as interested in the Internet of Things or pet health and wellness as I am, please stop by and see me. I'd love to meet you. Thanks.
Good morning. My name is Jim Price, and I am a CEO of Empower, and I am here to introduce Martin. This summer, I was proud to serve as one of their marketing consultants, and as you heard from Tony, providing consultation has been a critical component and differentiator of the Brandery has offered over the years and has proved instrumental to a startup success. As a consultant, I was able to give them a little bit of advice, some bad advice here and there, provide an idea or two, or even do some critical thinking. Wouldn't it be nice if we all had a consultant at the tip of our fingers to help us in a moment's notice? Well, folks, if you're up on the trends, artificial intelligence and natural language processing is making this all real, possible, and available today. There enters Martin. I am proud to introduce the dynamic Australian duo from Down Under, which I just found out is the largest population of kangaroos, but also largest net exporter of camels. And their very strong Australian accents, and the first team ever to present as a team at Brandery Demo Day, James and Tanya.
Thanks, Hi, we're Martin. My name is Tanya. I'm CEO and co-founder. I'm a former management consultant, and this is James, co-founder, CTO, and a former Tesla lead engineer. In a world where the most valuable shelf space is pixels on a screen, large companies allocate enormous resources to digital marketing. They employ an army of marketers or outsource to agencies. But smaller businesses don't have the capacity for either. They may have one or two people in-house performing the tasks of a marketer, often in addition to their primary role. It's a classic story of the haves and the have-nots. Because of this lack of resources, these businesses can't compete.
And there are marketing solutions out there, but they look like this. Complex dashboards that drown you in unactionable data and provide little insight or direction. But Martin is different. Martin is a virtual marketing consultant powered by artificial intelligence. He uses a simple conversational interface, which means you can chat with Martin just like you would with a colleague. If you've ever had a conversation, then you already know how to use Martin. He'll give you daily briefings on your marketing performance and recommend actions to increase engagement. You can ask follow-up questions or direct Martin to go and execute those actions on your behalf. It is through these conversations that Martin gives every business, irrespective of their size, the power to punch above their weight online.
So let me give you a couple of examples of what that conversation with Martin may look like. You've received a review on Yelp or any of the other 85 review sites that Martin is constantly monitoring for you in real time. It's a positive review, so Martin pings you with it and suggests that you cross-post it to Facebook. You approve, and he does this for you. If later you had a follow-up question and you wanted to know how this post was performing, you could simply ask Martin, and he'll give you a snapshot. Let's have a look at another example. Martin has been monitoring your Facebook page to learn what you post. From tens of thousands of sources around the web, he's found an article he thinks your audience will like. He pings you with the article, you approve it, and Martin posts it, even finding the optimal time for your page when your audience is most likely to engage with it. And that's what Martin looks like. In fact, that is all of what Martin looks like. There are no dashboards. It's pretty simple, right?
But we do a lot of work on the back end to make it seem that simple. Martin is constantly analyzing all available data sources to build out a knowledge graph of your product offering, your brand voice, and your target audience. Our deep learning algorithms select the right marketing message and channel and predict the optimal time to deliver it. From there, our natural language engine synthesizes this information into a conversation. We've spent months developing our proprietary learning algorithms on a flexible architecture, which means that Martin is built to integrate with the communication tools that you're already using, that he'll pick up new skills quickly, and then he'll get smarter the more you interact with him.
And we don't have to tell you the digital marketing space is enormous. Spending in digital marketing by SMBs is expected to double over the next 5 years. So it's a well-known opportunity and everyone is vying for a piece of the prize. But as James said, the solution isn't another dashboard. It's advanced algorithms and integrations hidden behind a simple conversational interface, and we're leading the way for this future. We have a monthly subscription model at a price point every business can afford because we're priced for rapid expansion. Over the coming years, we have a plan to capture 175,000 subscribers, generating $100 million in annual recurring revenue. And our go-to-market strategy that will allow us to scale, we're initially selling through companies with large distributed networks of independent agents. Right now, we're in discussions with an insurance company to put Martin in the hands of their independent agents. We're also forming relationships with agencies, selling Martin to their smaller business customers. Next month, we're piloting Martin with Red 212, our agency partner, and just these two partnerships alone will put Martin in the hands of over 5,000 subscribers. And this is the team. I have over 10 years' experience helping small businesses grow while working as operations manager for a private equity-backed consolidation group.
My last role was at Tesla, where I developed and implemented control theory and machine learning algorithms. Our third team member is Jamie, a Techstars alum and previous founder of a venture-backed startup. Since joining the Brandery, we've developed version 1, a smart social media content curation assistant. We're currently testing with the first 100 subscribers who are using the product right now on Facebook Messenger. We're focused on perfecting the engineering, collecting data, and improving our learning algorithms.
We have the right team, we've developed a market-ready product, and we're ready to add features and scale. If you share our vision for AI consultants, we'd love to speak to you. Thank you.
All right, so this is our second of 3 alumni coming out. A little bit different story. Matt Lenahan is about to come to the stage. His company is called DataRoll. Came into the Brandery as a company called HireWheel, and Matt is a great example of a founder that did great things in the Brandery, didn't quite have that product market fit coming out of the Brandery, and just worked his ass off for almost a year until he finally raised that seed round. And really, since then, has gone on to do really great things. I think he is raising an A round, he maybe will tell you, but With Data Roll now, he's doing great things in the insurance industry, and he's really killing it. So a great example of an entrepreneur that just kept at it, and the type of entrepreneur that we love here at the Brandery. So without further ado, Matt Lanahan.
Thanks, Tony. Feels great to be back on stage for Demo Day. Before I get started, just want to give a quick shout out to Startup Cincy, who's been with us from the very beginning. Very first desk at Centrifuge, amazing experience, of course, at the Brandery, venture backing from Cincy Tech and other incredible local investors, and having spent the last year and a half as a startup in residence at 8451. We wouldn't be here without your support, so thank you. So the last time I was on a Demo Day stage, I was pitching, as Tony mentioned, a data-driven consumer product. Now, fast forward to today, we evolved into an enterprise API that helps homeowners insurance companies solve a massive problem that only insiders are generally aware of. Now, before you hit the snooze button, because I mentioned the word insurance, hang with me, because we're solving a big problem in a huge industry. If you leave today's event with only one number in your head, it should be 61%. Because 61% of all homeowners insurance policies across the country are being underwritten with bad property data. Property data meaning the age of a roof, your electrical, plumbing, HVAC. In fact, these 4 data points alone can swing how much you pay for your homeowner's insurance policy as much as your credit score can. The industry's problem, though, is that credit reports only exist for people, not properties. DataRoll solves this problem by aggregating data from building permit offices across the country, as well as private companies, to become the industry's most accurate source for property data and analytics. To just pull out a single data point as an example, the industry today leaves about $2.4 billion of uncollected premiums on the table every year by simply not knowing roof age. Roof age is a cornerstone of our product and just a great highlight of why we believe this opportunity is so compelling. It's been a really great year for us here in 2017, being able to call companies like Allstate and American Family Insurance our customers. We've had over 10 million address requests on our enterprise platform, and just our team having the confidence in our product to be able to charge a 25x premium over our closest competitor on an address-by-address basis. So 2017 has just been awesome. Our small team is doing amazing work, which is why I want to be up here today, because we're seeking smart and energetic people to help us scale this platform together. So feel free to reach out to me at matt@dataroll.com or find me after the event, but good luck to all the other companies here today. Thanks very much.
My name is Chris Bergman. I am CEO and co-founder of Family Tech and Chore Monster. We're a graduate of the 2011 class of the Brandery. So at this point, I am old and ancient in Cincinnati. I've been a Brandery mentor for a few years and have had the pleasure of mentoring the Soapy Soap guys. And I'm excited to talk about them a little bit. But more importantly, anytime I'm on stage, I feel like I need to take the opportunity to talk about my wife, because that's the only way I get points on Honeydew. My wife is an amazing person. She's extremely creative, and she's also the mom to two boys aged 5 and 3. So she's extremely busy, and I have found over the course of the past few years that Pinterest has become my sworn enemy, because she goes on Pinterest and wants to create things and make projects and become somebody that can sell things on Etsy. And she finds that she doesn't have the time to do any of that because she's busy being a mom and a wife to an annoying entrepreneur. And I was so lucky to find Design My Soap, which the Soapy Soap guys created, because my wife is able to go on to Design My Soap and feel like one of those wonderful Pinteresty women that have all the time in the world and aren't doing anything like raising children. And actually get her creative juices flowing and create a product, a soap in this instance, that really is about her and makes her feel like she's using that creative outlet. And then when that soap arrives, and she now makes it for a bunch of different family members and we use it around the house, she feels like she's actually participating in the creation of a product. And that makes her feel awesome and makes her feel like she's doing something besides just being a mom all the time. I just wanted to thank you guys for giving me as a husband an opportunity to let my wife be creative and build something that impacts her at a level that I had no idea was so important to her. So thank you guys. I'm really excited to introduce the co-founder of Soapy Soap, Anthony Duncan. Thanks.
Thanks, Chris, for those kind words. Soapy Soap Company was founded by 3 Indiana University grads in Bloomington, Indiana, Muhammad A., his brother, Muhammad M., and me, Anthony. But if you forget my name, that's okay. You can call me Muhammad, too. I'm here to share with you our story and how we created a soap company that's been generating revenue for the past 5 years and most recently got the attention of Oprah's O Magazine. We're makers at heart. We love learning how unique things are made and how they work. So one day, when we needed soap, rather than going to the store and buying soap like normal people, we asked ourselves, how is soap made? We did some research and quickly discovered that most soap contains animal ingredients such as beef fat or pork fat. And us all 3 being Muslims and following halal, which is similar to kosher, we didn't like the idea of rubbing these animal ingredients all over our bodies, not to mention the synthetic ingredients used in most bar soaps. We tried out a few natural soaps, but none really had great quality, in our opinion. So we decided to set out to make the best all-natural bar soap possible. We started out testing many different soap recipes and formulas, and we do have gas masks like that, by the way. And we ran several trial and error experiments in our kitchen. Along the way, after a few weeks, we found that we had made over 200 years worth of bar soap for us. And we decided, heck, why not sell soap? And at the same time, share with people what we learned about the soap world. Spurring us on was the fact that the all-natural body care market is at $3.5 billion annually in the US and growing. And while there are many smaller players in the market, there are only a few larger players like Tom's of Maine or Burt's Bees. So there's really an opportunity for someone to come along and take a chunk of the market. So we kept selling, expanding, and growing the business, our revenue doubling year over year. Our dedication, our grit, and our determination is what got us to over 60,000 bars of soap sold with over $500,000 in revenue, and got our products sold through several national chain store locations. And while we started out in our kitchen making soap and selling at local markets, we're now producing at scale in our GMP-compliant food-grade facility over in Bloomington, Indiana. And we have room to grow with the capacity to double our output year over year for several years. We've perfected our supply chain in-house from sourcing to manufacturing and fulfillment. And now we're ready to sell on the national and global levels. To do this, we really considered what our capabilities are and what the gaps are in the marketplace, and we found the path moving forward. Personalization. This is really where we see an opportunity for rapid growth, putting us ahead of all the other natural soap players. Mass personalization is truly the wave of the future, with today's customers wanting products made just for them, and they're willing to pay a 20% premium for it. At the same time, customers who buy personalized products are more loyal to the brand and engage more with the company. Fully 30% of customers are interested in buying personalized products right now, and that number is quickly growing. What that means for us, taking 30% of that $3.5 billion market I mentioned earlier, is an untapped market of $1 billion. Untapped because there's currently no one else making personalized bar soaps, not even P&G. So, what makes personalized bar soaps possible for us, and why is no one else doing it? Well, remember all that testing and experimentation we did years ago? Along the way, we created our own proprietary method of making all-natural bar soap. in manufacturing. And what we did with that was we termed it the volcano method. And what sets the volcano method apart is that the soap is safe and ready to use the same day as making it. Typically, all natural bar soap requires 30 to 45 days to cure and be safe to use. So we're uniquely positioned to make over 20 million possible combinations of scent blends, exfoliant choices, and labeling, all with the same or better quality than any other artisanal soap out there, and ship it out the next day. Thus, DesignMySoap.com by Soapy Soap Company, our e-commerce platform, was born. We utilized our years of experience in the soap making field, our proprietary soap making method, and a good bit of grit, and launched Design My Soap quickly within 30 days. And now we're shipping out orders daily. We've created a way for customers to curate their own experience with a product they already use on a daily basis. And we're seeing this resonate both with our customers and with media. To date, we've sold thousands of personalized bar soaps, and, and people are sharing them organically on social media. And we're seeing an organic reorder rate of about 15% and growing. And we're just now implementing email drip campaigns and retargeting. We've also seen great response from the media. For example, appearing in the September 2017 issue of Oprah's O Magazine, a great achievement in our mind. This couldn't have been possible without our production, fulfillment, and creative staff over in Bloomington, Indiana. And now, with the added help of the Brandery and our mentors, we have strategic scaling and customization plans and funnel optimization plans currently in place, and we're ready to start growing. And a little bit about the future. While right now we're currently focusing solely on personalized bar soaps to get that experience the best possible, in the next few years we'll be adding on other personalized body care products such as lip balms, spray mists, and bath soaks. And so we invite you to come talk soap with us. We're currently raising a seed round and looking for knowledgeable, passionate investors who would like to help us grow more quickly to our full potential and join us in this journey. We invite you to come stop by our table after the demo to design your own soap. Thank you.
All right, this is our third of 3 alumni. I'm about to bring out Mr. Nick Kremitis. Nick came in with his co-founders to the Brandery in 2013? 12? 13. There we go. I always get it wrong, always. All the companies from this year's class from 2017, so I got those right. 2013, he came in with an app that was basically, who knows, is it ClassPass? Who's the one that actually, yeah, ClassPass actually executed on what they came in. They had an app that was, you could go to any gym, one membership called TapFit. And Nick he's just a great example of the type of entrepreneur, again, that we bring into the Brandery. The idea that he pivoted to after TapFit has nothing to do with TapFit. But he found an opening in the market, and he kind of jumped into it. And as a talented entrepreneur, he is now killing it. And it's the same entity as it was with TapFit. This isn't a new company. He shifted this whole thing and then kept us involved, which really says a lot about him as a person and as a founder. So without further ado, I'll have him talk to you a little bit about Hunt Club.
Thanks, Tony. Yep. Thank you. As Michael Stick said last year, I'm not a stranger to this stage, so I always have to find my way up here somehow. But want to start off by giving you guys, thank you. So as a Chicago native that considers Cincinnati home for his own entrepreneurial journey, I don't think you guys realize how much it means to someone like myself and to other entrepreneurs that walk across the stage today. So keep up that level of support, keep up that level of commitment to each of these companies, because it's made all the difference for me, and it's going to make the difference for everyone here. So thank you. And so, as Tony mentioned, in 2014, I started a fitness company called TapFit. And so the business didn't fail for lack of product market fit. It didn't fail because of lack of execution. It actually failed because of lack of product founder fit. So what I mean by that is we were here for 4 months. On one hand, this is how many times I worked out. 5 times. So probably not the best company for someone like myself to be starting, in hindsight. So through that experience, it led me and started to think through what we're actually passionate about. And what I was always passionate about is connecting the dots between people and new opportunities, which led me to what we created today in Hunt Club. So quick show of hands, how many people here have referred somebody for an open job in the last year, either to a friend's company, to one of your portfolio companies, to your own company? Great. That's Hunt Club. So Hunt Club is a new category search firm that leverages technology, referrals, and full service to give folks like yourself, we call them influencers, an avenue to help the best people find great opportunities. And so while most firms, I'm sure most of us have gotten those LinkedIn requests or LinkedIn messages or cold emails or cold calls, leverage, very noisy and cluttered mediums, what we do is we actually reach people from those who know them best. And so the way that we do that is we actually incentivize our influencers to refer. So you get anywhere between $100 to $300 per every interview for one of your referrals, and $2,000 to $5,000 for every placement. So we're incentivizing the entire network. And so really, if you think about what that means, it means if we're doing a CMO search for a company, we can leverage 15 chief marketing officers, 17 vice presidents of marketing, 10 directors, a couple executives, a couple founders, all referring on your company's behalf. And so that's sort of the power of Hunt Club, someone that's been there and done that. So thanks a lot to this community. We've made some awesome progress in 2 years. So we've got 20 full-time employees now in Chicago. And we've got a plan to probably grow to about 50 next year. We've executed and placed over 200 searches. So a wide category of chief marketing officer, chief operating officer, director of marketing, vice president of marketing, across the entire gambit. We've worked with over 100 different companies, as large as Verizon with AOL, growth startups locally like Everything But the House, Ahology, Oros, and then a wide range of companies in Chicago as well. So really widespread, we've got great companies and partners. And so I think the really cool thing about what we've built too is we have over 2 million potential referrals in our database today. So what that means with pretty high probability of certainty is I think I can recruit every single person here in this room using somebody that already knows you. And so why that's important is because if you think about what's missing today and why we built this business in recruiting, it's not that recruiters are bad, right? It's just that there's no human connection or element. There's no understanding of who you are. So our goal is, some of those opportunities in your inbox actually in LinkedIn might actually be good. Now don't look at them, use us, work with us, but the point is, we think that a lot of amazing opportunities are being lost based on who are packaging and presenting them. So we believe that the right person at the right time, presenting you with the right opportunity, will give you something to listen to. And that's our goal at Hunt Club, to help you with that. So thank you.
All right, so I agreed. So I have a lot of friends out here in the audience. And if there's one thing you know about me, one, I like comfortable clothes. I actually was annoyed that I had to put on pants this morning to come do this. I wear shorts until almost Thanksgiving. And they're not just like dress shorts either. They're like, hiking shorts. I like to be comfortable. I started my company so I didn't have to ask anybody what I had to wear. So, don't tell Dan this, who's about to come out and tell you about jumper threads after Dave introduces him. But one of the main reasons we brought him in here is because I wanted to get free, sweatpants. Look at this. This stuff just has style, and they've got their socks coming out. So everything you see on me is jumper threads. And so without further ado, I'm going to bring out Dave Townsend, who's from the agency Intrinsic that worked with Jumper Threads, to tell you a little bit about the work that they did. And then after Dan talks about all this great stuff that he's built, go to jumperthreads.com and you could look like this.
Hi, as Jeff said, I'm Dave Townsend, president and partner at Intrinsic. And I have to admit, I was super stoked when we got paired with Jumper Threads as our first trip through the Brandery. Some of you who know me may realize that I have a little thing for clothes. And one thing you may not know is I wear a t-shirt every day. And when you do that and you live in a t-shirt, you really quickly figure out what's a great t-shirt, what's a good t-shirt, and what's a horrible t-shirt. And there's a big difference. And so on one of my shopping trips to my favorite little shop down on Vine Street, Bolero, I got talking to the guy that owns it, and he introduced me to the jumper t-shirts. And it was love at first wear, to say the least. It made every other t-shirt I had that I thought I liked something that I didn't want to wear anymore. And so when we got involved with the Brandery and saw the jumper was one of the companies in there, I was kind of on a mission. I didn't tell my team I was on a mission, but I was on a mission to work with these guys because I wanted to see how we could help them take things to the next level. And one of the core things that we look for as a company when we partner with other organizations is to try to find somebody that's got a very clear and distinctive ethic. That drive for why they do what they do, that passion that comes through in everything. And in about 5 minutes in a conversation with Daniel and his team, it came through the jumper had a very clear ethic that we could help them bring to life. And so Daniel became the embodiment, the ethos of the jumper brand. This is a guy that is truly ready for anything, whether that's jumping out of a plane as an Army Ranger to keep all of us safe, or deciding after doing that that he wanted to start a finance company and stepping out and becoming an entrepreneur to do that, or whether that's his quest for what I think is the greatest t-shirt out there. Daniel represents that unbasic life, that perpetual motion that is jumper threads. So I'm super excited to introduce the Cincinnati-born, Cincinnati-bred Daniel Redlinger and jumper threads.
So my name is Daniel Redlinger, and this is Jumper Threads. About 2 years ago, I realized I had a problem most guys in this room would recognize, underfront. And I need a clicker. There we are. Everyone knows what underfront is, right? It comes from a bad undershirt. It's like when it comes untucked all day, it's baggy, and just makes your dress shirt look terrible. I see it at weddings, you see it in the office. It's here, I see it right now here and today. So as Dave mentioned, I'm a former paratrooper and Army Ranger, and when you're jumping out of planes and helicopters, you learn to love good gear. So I partnered with Andy Mallett, who's a ski wear entrepreneur, and we set out to create the perfect undershirt. So it had to be super soft and breathable, it had to be longer to stay tucked, and it had to be form-fitting so it wasn't baggy. And in November 2015, after a year of prototyping, we launched Jumper Threads. It solved my underfront problem, and everyone loved it. We were getting hundreds of 5-star reviews. But it wasn't until I wore it out on the mountain skiing as a base layer that I realized that we had made a great everyday product. It kept me warm, it kept me dry, it was breathable. It was effectively the best base layer I had ever worn. And then a light bulb went off. I realized that we had made a product, an everyday basic product whose performance had transcended from my office to my adventure. And I became kind of obsessed with this unique market position, brand position. And so, my friends, let me introduce you to the first of its kind, Jumper Threads, adventure basics. Socks, underwear, undershirts, t-shirts, basic everyday products that perform as well from your office to your adventure. So what does that look like? These guys are the leaders in the premium basic market right now. They love staring off in the distance. They drink bourbon in bed. They all look exactly the same, by the way. And they're killing it. And they're focused on inner layers and comfort. And this market is exploding right now. As a matter of fact, the top 2 men's apparel purchases online are underwear and shirts. And the fastest growing online purchase items, not cameras, not any of that stuff anymore, for the last 5 years, you guessed it, men's apparel. So on the other side, we have adventure brands. These are brands that are iconic, that we wear with pride because what they stand for, freedom, exploration, adventure. But they're only focused on outer layers and functions. So basically on one side, we have extreme comfort, and on the other side, we have adventure and function and outer layers and brands we love. But in the middle, where we live, this is movement. This is adventure basics. This is blue ocean. This is market position, ready for the taking, and this is jumper threats. So how are we doing? We've sold in 42 countries worldwide since we launched in November 2015. We have hundreds of thousands of social media engagements, and we have sales. We've sold $100,000 worth of that super soft beach tree undershirt. And last fall, we launched our first fleece product. We've sold $170,000 in fleece product, basically a jumbo sweatpants since last fall. And since September 7th, where we launched this year our Action Jacket project, we've sold $173,000 pre-production, pre-sale of this jacket. And our products, best products are yet to come. We've made performance socks that are on their final prototypes, pre-production. These look like dress socks, but you could run a marathon in them. And we're super stoked about our Peppermint Tech underwear featuring cool and fresh peppermint fiber. So what's the jumper universe look like? In the center, at its core, were socks, underwear, undershirts, t-shirts. But on the outside, we're building our adventure brand with our fleece products and the Action Jacket. The Action Jacket, by the way, the first graduate of the Jumper Labs, which is a socially connected Facebook group with over 3,000 people strong, giving us real-time feedback of what they want to see. Like, what kind of thumb holes would you like in the Action Jacket? What colorways are important to you? What's pocket designs look good? We're systematizing feedback and building a tribe all at the same time. So we're a direct-to-consumer vertical brand. We're selling online on our website, which just relaunched last night, so make sure you hit it up. And then we're selling on Amazon and Kickstarter, and we're soon to be looking for a strategic retail partner to showcase our core products. So the team is Andy Mallett, who is a ski-wear entrepreneur, founded Saga Outerwear, has done $20 million in direct-to-consumer e-commerce sales. And myself, I founded a finance company. I've done a few $100 million in commercial real estate financing. So we know we're onto something with Jumper. If you're interested in learning more about it, we'd love for you to meet us after the show and come jump with us. And I promise I won't point out any underfrump if you do have it. So thank you.
All right, unfortunately, I'm back in pants that are not sweatpants. I want to talk a little bit before I bring out Monica Panagos to introduce our last Brandery 2017 company. To talk a little bit about this great thing we've been doing, Procter & Gamble, over the past 3 classes. You know, one of the hardest things for a startup to do, if you work for a big company, you know this, is to get access to a big company, to have a big company be a customer of your startup, which is really one of the more powerful things that can happen for a tiny startup organization. So we got together with P&G a couple years ago, and we set up this thing called the Fellowship, where every year P&G picks 1 or 2 companies. This year it's just 1. And they take these companies with a set path to a paid in-market pilot by the time that the Brandery has ended. So right now the pilot is running. Serge will tell you a little bit about it in his pitch. But this has just been such a fantastic way to leverage these big corporations in Cincinnati to really try to give our startups here in Startup Cincy a leg up. So without further ado, Monica Panagos from P&G to talk to you a little bit about retarget links. Thank you.
Thank you, Tony. Hi, everyone. How are we doing? Good? Excellent. It has been a great morning. So my name is Monica Panagos. I'm an innovation manager at Procter & Gamble. I'm also the manager for the Signal Accelerator. To those of you that don't know what the Signal Accelerator is the way that we work with the startups and the startup ecosystem all around the world. We do pilots with our brands and try to bring those entrepreneurs that are the brightest and best entrepreneurs to disrupt the way P&G innovate. That's why we're working here in our backyard with the Brandery, and this is the 3rd year in a row that we're doing this. The fellowship program, the company that we selected is called Retarget Links. And they are really thinking about a big problem that is digital advertising. As P&G is one of the biggest advertisers in the world, you know that waste is huge for us. Mark Preacher, our CMO, has in the last year talked about the problem of waste. I think Retarget Links has two big premises for a hypothesis that they are trying to solve on how to address digital advertising waste. The first one, the first premise is that content is more viewed by people when that content is non-biased. So who will click in a best name for your baby? Will you click in a Pampers ad or will you click in a blogger's ad? Probably into the blogger's ad, correct? The second premise is that it's not about the quantity and millions of impressions anymore. It's about the quality. And that's what we are looking for at P&G, is how you engage the right target to your audience. So with that, I'm going to invite Serge Salager. He's an ex-P&G alum. He's obsessed about waste in advertising. This is not his first road show, so he's an entrepreneur and very close to becoming a serial entrepreneur. And with that, I want to welcome to the stage the CEO for Retarget Links, Serge Salager.
That's Monica. Hello, everybody. So my name is Serge, and we are an advertising technology company. We've raised $400,000, and we've been in market for about a year. These are my two co-founders, technical co-founders, Dylan and Sam, and I have a fourth one, which is here, which is Alana, which is not in the picture that time. She just joined us recently. The basic concept of our product is it's based on a short link. So you can see here you found a really nice article in Advertising Age, and you want to share it with your friends, either on email or social media. You just go now up to Bitly to shorten it, and you share it with your friends. Except in this time, you use our technology. And our short link is very, very special, and what makes us different from Bitly or the others are the fact that we drop a retargeting cookie in any of these browsers that click the link. So if you click the link, you get my cookie. That retargeting cookie gets recognized by publishers as the person who has the cookie browses the web. If you upload your ads beforehand in our a simple drag and drop in our system, USA Today will display your ads. And as you browse the net, if you land in the Financial Times, they will also recognize the cookie, and they will also show you your banner ads. New York Times will do the same. Here's a cookie from Serge. Here's Serge's ad. And CNN, and so forth and so on. Most of you guys have experienced that when you land on Amazon. Say you're looking for headphones. Amazon will follow you everywhere you go with Amazon ads. And this is one of the most powerful technologies which are out there, because Amazon knows that you've been looking for headphones and you're shopping for headphones. And they know you are making comparing prices and comparing different options. Or maybe they know you might forget about it. So the technology is the same thing. Amazon drops a cookie on that website. Now the big difference here is that you are dropping a cookie on a website, so you have to go to Amazon. Amazon is very easy for them because Amazon is a destination on its own, but most brands have difficulties in bringing people to their own website. I mean, think about Charming. Who goes to charming.com? It's very difficult for you to get there, and that's how we started this company, is how we can retarget, how we can use the power of retargeting outside your own website. And this is what we did. We launched Retarget Links because we knew that 100% of the internet traffic when you go from A to B happens on a link. If you go to Google, it's on a link. If you go if you click on an email, it's a link. If you're on social media, it's a link. So everything, all the traffic, it's a link. So it's very powerful to be able to retarget there. Just to show you how our system is being used, I'm going to talk about one of the smallest advertisers, which is Tenskin. Is a cream, a lotion cream from women. And our biggest advertiser, as you can see, is a big gap in budget. But we cover essentially any needs for any advertiser. So Tenskin is very special for us because it's one of our early adopters, and they don't have a website. But they have access to 30,000 email listings where they actually use our technology there. As you can see here, that short link can be completely branded. They use tenskin.l, and they're sharing in those emails, in those newsletters, they're sharing articles about Elle Magazine, about stuff that actually is interesting for their target groups. They share it too on Facebook, social media. And again, this is an example of another short link to Cosmopolitan. Again, people clicked on it and they got the Tenskin cookie. And they shared also, that's another example, to their own store. So as they were driving people to their own store, they were putting cookies there. And the total number of cookies was 85,000 people. And they've done it essentially for free. What they've done next is that they launched an ad campaign. So they drag and drop their banner ads. As you can see here, these are the first time they were actually showing a banner ad. And they felt very proud of it because it's the first time they were able to advertise their brand in Elle Magazine or in Vogue, whatever the people actually click on their links went to. So they felt like, oh, I'm like Procter & Gamble, really punching above my weight, and I'm showing banner ads there. So it cost them about $4,000 to show about $1 million ads. That cost us $2,000, so we have a margin of roughly 50%, which is pretty good. And it worked out for them. They increased revenues during that month by $20,000, which represents a 25% increase in sales and an ROI of 500%. So obviously, that's why we got in touch with P&G, because for them, that's a 25% increase. It looks very promising. Anyways, we solved a big issue for small, medium businesses, which is how simple it is for any business to actually show a banner ad in the Wall Street Journal, in Forbes, etc. It's incredibly easy to use. Just about a short link, you send that to somebody, that person actually clicks on it, and you will see a banner ad. You can advertise your birthday party on the Wall Street Journal if you want to. You can advertise charities. You can advertise demo days. By the way, some of you might have seen our ads. This is because you clicked on one of the links shared by the group. And they've been rewarding us. We've been making $75,000 in sales since we launched. But our most promising target is the big guys. This is not $25 a week, which is our minimum budget. This is a couple zeros more, maybe 3 zeros more per week. And we've been put in touch thanks to the Brandery. We're incredibly fortunate to be able to do a pilot with P&G. And Monica has been fantastic to do that, to facilitate that. To illustrate what we're doing for P&G, this is an ad. This is a L'Oreal ad. That was made on purpose because they are the competitors of P&G. And what's happening today, this is an ad for curly hair people, curly hair women more specifically. That ad is being seen by all the people who are reading that article. And as you can see here, so far, there's as you can see, five women actually are seeing this ad, and none of them have curly hair. So as Monica was saying, this is 100% waste for the advertisers. They're wasting all the advertising dollars to do here. Now, as more people actually see and read the article and watch this ad, there might be some curly hair here and there. As you can see, there are only 2 here in the screen. And that's 75% waste. So 75% of the money that L'Oreal has spent on showing that ad is completely wasted. That represents $100 billion of advertising waste across. This number is massive. And P&G and all the advertisers know about it. Mark Preacher has been very vocal about it. As you can see here, this is an article which was written 4 days ago, only 4 days ago, just in time for a demo day. And they're saying, Mark Preacher is saying he's arguing against waste in the digital space. He goes on by saying that 25% of digital ad spend reaches consumers. So this is the same number I had before. And I had that number before that article was actually published. He goes on by saying, too, that P&G will invest in innovations like mass one-to-one marketing, like serving ads only when it makes sense, which is exactly what we're doing. And in technology, you need luck. But you also need some timing, and we are very excited about our technology because we feel that we are arriving at the right time and we're the right partners to test our technology. So speaking of P&G, so we talk about L'Oreal Curls, and now it's what can Pantene Curls do better than L'Oreal? And this is how to show you what we're trying to do with P&G. So this is content that goes to Cosmopolitan. It's an article about top tips for curly hair. Again, this is an article about curly hair. So the question for you guys is, who will read it? If you don't have curly hair, you will not read it, so you will not click the link. you will not get cookied. But if you do have curly hair, you're probably going to click on that, and you're going to get the curly hair Pantene cookie. So she's going to get the cookie, and the Selena Gomez ad for curly hair products will actually be showing. So you can guarantee P&G and the other groups that 0% of your advertising will be wasted. You're getting a cookie on the person that actually signal interest about that, and that's how you get the proper ad. We are now experimenting with Pampers, with Olay, and with New Chapter. So we're conducting those pilots. We're starting literally as we speak, and we're going to have the results in a couple of months from now. And we hope to be able to give you more news about that when we launch, when the results are available. So a bit more about our company. I'm an ex-P&G, so I've been spending 12 years there. I left P&G to do an MBA at Harvard. Then I joined Nestle in their venture group. And after Nestle, I became the CEO of a Toronto-listed exchange company, which I exited before starting my Retarget Links. I'm joined by Alana Levine, who's our head of marketing. She was at Paysafe before, and Sam and Dylan are technical co-founders. Dylan comes from a site retargeting company, so he knows a lot about cookies. In our investors, we have Brandery, of course, 500 startups. We have Vegas Tech Fund, which is the fund from Tony Hayes, who is also a big retargeting fan. We own the link retargeting patent. We also own the space. If you Google about us, we have the first and half of the page. And we're giving, obviously, P&G a head start, but we are raising our second round of financing to be able to hire as a sales team and account managers to go after the rest of the crowd. So we have lined up Nestle, Danone, Unilever, L'Oreal, and other big brands to talk about our technology. For those in the room who are P&G alumni and you want to test our technology, you can leapfrog P&G and go be faster than them if you want to. We have a booth downstairs with plenty of materials, so you are invited to come and talk to us. Thank you so much.
All right, just have a couple announcements before we get you guys out of here. First of all, thank you guys so much for coming. It means a lot that you take time out of your day to hear these guys pitch. A few housekeeping things. Well, first of all, what I want to do, I don't know if they're around here, but we could not have put this whole class and this demo day together without Jeff Bay and Gabby Rudd, our program manager and office manager, respectively. They make me look really good. I take all the credit, but they do a lot of the work. So without them, we couldn't have done this. A few housekeeping things. So if you are an investor and you have a green dot on your name tag, you are invited to our lunch downstairs. We would like to keep this to just investors. This is a time for these startups to really start making those connections where they can raise those. If you are an investor but didn't register as an investor, on your honor system, please just check in with Elizabeth downstairs. She'll get you a little green sticker, get you into the lunch, and you can talk to folks down there. Logistically, we have another event coming in here, and they're going to be coming in the right staircase, my right, your left. So we all need to exit out of this staircase over here. So if you guys can just be a little patient, we'll all get you down there and get you guys on your way. So again, thank you guys so much for coming out. Thank you for supporting Brandery 2017. See you next year. Thank you very much.